Well, it is July 17th. I have not done an update in a little bit. This is Margaret. She's hanging out. She's catching some sun. I haven't done an update in a little bit. Been pretty busy with other stuff, and my garden has not been doing super stoked, so I've not really been wanting to show it off a whole lot, but you know, we'll show what's going on. The strawberry is doing all right. Got some decent yields. More strawberries. Flowers are going crazy. This bed was supposed to be cucumbers, and as you can see, this is like my healthiest one. Usually by this point they're already up to here, so not a good year for my cucumbers. I've had to start them over 4 times. They keep getting eaten by slugs, pill bugs, regardless if I do transplants or direct sow. It's just been a bad year. Peas are nearing the end of their life. We just got back from like I don't know, I was gone for like 8 or 9 day vacation, so I kind of just neglected a bunch of stuff. I got back, I was really exhausted. I've just been sitting around, so haven't been out here a whole lot. This cabbage I planted like in October and it's still not done. It's kind of crazy. I'm not very familiar with cabbage, so maybe that's just standard, but I thought I'd harvest it by now. Tomatoes are actually starting to do all right, even though they're late. They're looking good. I still need to get these stakes in the ground, get some trellis up, but they're holding themselves up so far. These are supposed to be a couple beds of sweet peppers. Well, they are, but they're tiny. Not the size I was hoping for. Starting to get some flower spots on there. These things are usually a lot bigger at this point. Not the greatest season. Just finished harvesting my garlic. I'll be posting a video on the harvesting process here pretty soon. So, a couple I missed. Some flowering broccoli for the bees and the pollinators. Got the drip line going right now. Herbs are starting to look pretty good. Squash are actually looking pretty decent for getting a little bit of a later start on them than I would have liked. These ones were transplanted later and they're just not catching up as quickly as I was hoping. The peppers in the pots are not doing too bad. They're definitely behind, but they're looking pretty healthy now that we've had some good weather. I've been able to feed them a little bit. Starting to perk up a little bit. I'm expecting basically nothing from them though, because I don't even have flower sites. It's the middle of July and my season ends by middle of October. So I'm not going to get anything ripe, I'm guessing, or very, very little. So anyone looking for seed stock this year, it's going to be really limited. I'm assuming, at least. This makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. This has just been a rough year. We had a real rough spring. It just never ended. The tomatoes are starting to perk up. Or not tomatoes, pumpkins starting to perk up. Excited for them to actually start crawling up this. Hopefully they get a decent way up it. More peppers. My nymphodoras. These guys are supposed to be this color. They're not sickly. That's what they're supposed to look like. Mutants. All those fun ones. I needed to deconstruct this. I was using this as my structure to harden off. And yeah, that's basically the backyard. So let's go check out the front yard. Berries need some watering. I've been kind of neglecting them a little bit. This is the garlic I just harvested. And then I've got all of these. These are going to be a lot bigger. They've been in much more primo conditions. These are like prime harvesting time right now. When they start to fall over like that, you want to harvest them. You can harvest them before this, but I was gone for a while. Ideal harvest probably would have been 5-10 days ago. But this will be pretty solid. Better for seed stock. You let them sit a little bit longer too. Got some yarrow. I don't know what this is. Volunteer stuff that I thought was cilantro. It turned out to not be. Onions. These guys are ready to harvest. At least some of them are. Like that guy's a pretty good chonker. First year growing them myself, and it didn't go exactly as planned, but it's not doing too bad. We got a bunch of calendula. Bees have been getting stoked on this. Real pretty. Planted these guys last year. My roommate did, and they've just been spreading like crazy. I don't know what this is. It's definitely not something I want to deal with. I keep pulling it, it just keeps freaking coming back. We got some greens here, getting ready to either bolt or finish forming their heads. Arugula is flowering. Chard, I always seem to get what I assume is leaf miner. It looks like leaf miner damage. I could be wrong on that, but I only get it on the chard. No matter where I plant it, I always get it. If you know what this is and it's not leaf miner damage, tell me. It doesn't look exactly like leaf miner, but it looks similar. This bed's just looking awful. Finally starting to perk back. Peppers, all ties in this bed. It's a big happy face. Kind of hard to see with the way the shadow's hitting. And eye, nose, mouth, and then he's got some hair. One thing I'm stoked about though is this grape plant, because grapes do fantastic in terrible soil. And it's not that the soil is absolutely terrible, but I didn't condition it in any way where I planted it. I just dug down into the ground, not healthy soil. I've not been working on it. It's just been chips sitting on top, so there's been some worms, but not a whole lot. And as you can see, this thing is huge. Got tons of flower sites on it, or tons of grapes starting to form, so I'm real excited. We only got 2 little clusters last year. These guys are all looking good over here. This is chicory. I don't recommend. You can make a like chicory root coffee substitute out of it, but if you let it go to seed, it is as bad or if not worse than dandelions. They are, I mean, it's in the same family, pretty sure at least. It's just ruining my paths from where it seeded last year, and that's going to seed now, so I'm gonna have to chop all this off before the seed pods start dropping, but the bees are loving it, so I'm letting it go a little bit longer. Got our pepper beds. This one actually turned out pretty good for such a terrible start. The left row is ahis, the right row is a mixture of pepperoncinis, different types of jalapenos. A little sparse in some spots. I still need to get the trellis on here before they get too big. I've really been slacking on that. My vacation did not time out perfectly with my garden. As you can see, I got some thimble berries popping up, kind of all over the place. Let me see if I can get an angle of them. Yeah, there's my, on the other side of the fence, right behind my greenhouse, got a bunch of native berries, and they've been going crazy this year, really been popping off. The aphids love them though, unfortunately. This row on the right, it's kind of a mixed bag of, what is it? Habaneros, white ghosts, and maybe some reapers. I think mostly just, I think white ghost and a couple other just random yellow, red ghosts and whatnot to fill in spots where some weren't looking so happy. That one's looking pretty stoked. That bed was